Podcast Network Asia. FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
Hi investors, this is Anjz from First Metro Securities. In this episode of Market Bites, let me share with you our latest company update on Robinsons Land Corp or RLC. We are upgrading RLC to a buy call with target price raised to 16 pesos. Following a reassessment of its valuation metrics and fundamentals. We now have a more constructive stance on RLC supported by the following. RLC stands out among peers with its solid financial position, allowing it to navigate prolonged development cycles and elevated interest rates. Its capital recycling initiatives, particularly through asset monetization via its REIT vehicle RCR, enhance reinvestment flexibility and long-term resilience. As of FY24 and 1Q25, RLC posted net gearing of 0.26 times and 0.25 times, and interest coverage of 7.9 times and 9.1 times, the strongest within our coverage universe. In addition, amid the challenging residential backdrop, RLC's high share of recurring income provides earnings visibility and cash flow stability. Recurring EBITDA contribution stood at 73% in full year 24 and 68% in 1Q25, with a balanced mix between malls and offices. This diversification supports resilient performance and mitigates segment-specific risks, especially from the residential segment where structural headwinds, such as oversupply, subdued rental growth, and elevated vacancy rates persist. Our new target price of 16 pesos implies 4.8% FY25F dividend yield, 5.2 times FY25 FPE, and 0.46 times PB, undemanding at near negative 1 SD of mean. We previously attributed RLC's D rating to the listing of RCR, which offered investors an alternative exposure to RLC's solid recurring income base. With RCR's recent outperformance, we believe RLC has followed suit, prompting a rally in its share price and supporting our upward revision and target price. To get more bullish, we prefer to see, first, aggressive residential launches accompanied by stronger pre-sales. Second, easing residential inventory levels and office vacancy rates, especially in Metro Manila. And third, monetization of RLC's land bank, especially in Clark, Pampanga. However, some risks to our call include, first, a wider discount to RCR valuations. Second, demand destruction resulting in weaker than expected consumer spending affecting malls. And third, prolonged challenges arising from exodus of POGOs, greater adoption of hybrid work setup, and/or adoption of AI, affecting structural demand for residential and office spaces. Again, that's a buy call for RLC at 16 pesos target price. And that's it for today's podcast. Make sure to follow us on our socials for more updates. That's First Metro Securities for our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and FirstMetroSec on TikTok. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this has been helpful.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the FirstMetroSec family.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.